Lady Gaga was threatened to strip or lose her music. Eminem nearly died from unknown pills. Billie Eilish was told she was too sad for radio. And Selena, heartbroken over Justin, crying in bathrooms before going on stage. These aren't just celebs, these are survival stories. And they're finally telling them. What would you do if someone said take your clothes off or we'll destroy your entire career? Yeah, that's exactly what happened to Lady Gaga.
A producer said to me, take your clothes off. And I said no.
In her emotional sit-down for The Me You Can't See on Apple TV, Gaga opened up about one of the darkest moments of her life. She was just starting out, chasing her music dreams, when a producer made that awful demand. When she refused, they said they'd burn all her music.
They told me they were gonna burn all my music. And they didn't stop. They didn't stop asking me, and then I just froze and
Let that sink in. Everything she had worked for, threatened, and it didn't stop there. She says they kept pressuring her until she completely shut down. She literally froze. Gaga even says she can't remember what happened next because it was that traumatic.
I don't even remember.
This moment left a scar that changed her life. She described having a total psychotic break afterward. For years, she wasn't herself.
I had a total psychotic break. And for a couple years, I was not the same girl.
It wasn't just emotional pain. She developed PTSD, dealt with chronic physical pain, and was fighting battles no one could see. And still, she came back stronger, more powerful, and more honest than ever. That's not just a comeback. That's survival with style. Just when you think you've heard it all, another story hits you like a truck. These aren't just celebrities. They're survivors, one of the biggest rappers on the planet, and nearly died from a pill he couldn't even name. Yeah, this is Eminem like you've never seen him.
You're taking things that people are giving you that you don't even know what the fuck they are. They look like a pill, and they're shaped like something that you take, so you take it.
In a brutally honest interview, Eminem opened up about how his addiction started and how it quickly turned into something darker. He didn't even realize when it became a problem, and when people tried to warn him, he'd push them away, hard.
When people tried to tell me that I had a problem, I would say, get that fucking person out of here. I can't believe they said that shit to me. They know nothing about my fucking life. Are they out of their fucking mind?
He wasn't out partying or doing crazy stuff like some would expect. He was numbing pain, taking random pills just because they looked like something safe. One night, after taking who knows what, he ended up in the hospital. The doctor said if he came in 2 hours later, he'd be dead. His organs were shutting down.
Had I got to the hospital about 2 hours later, I would have died. My organs were shutting down. My liver, kidneys, everything, they were gonna have to put me on dialysis. They didn't think I was gonna make it. My bottom was gonna be death. Within a month, I had relapsed and shot right back up to the same amount of pills that I was taking.
And even after that, he relapsed within a month. He described being awake for 3 weeks straight, relearning how to talk, walk, like he had to rebuild himself from scratch. And the wildest part, he thought no one could ever be happy without drugs. But today, he proves it does get better. My name is Marshall. I'm an addict. That's one of the most powerful lines we've ever heard.
My name is Marshall, I'm an addict.
From fighting addiction to fighting expectations, everyone's got their demons. And sometimes the world just doesn't get you. Like in Billie Eilish's case, she was topping charts, breaking records, but radio stations said she was too sad to play. Yep, Billie Eilish, the Billie with the billion stream hits, was once told that her music was too depressing for radio.
I remember at the beginning, there was all these labels and radio people that wouldn't play me because I was too sad and no one was gonna relate to it. That was just funny to me because I was like, everybody has felt sad in their life.
In her interview on CBS this morning, she talked about how a lot of the industry folks just didn't believe anyone would connect with her music. It was too moody, too emotional, too real. But Billie was like, have y'all ever felt sad? Because literally everyone has. She wasn't trying to fake sunshine. She was writing about the hard stuff, depression, anxiety, feeling alone, even when the world's watching.
And it's of course really important to promote happiness and loving yourself and stuff, but a lot of people don't love themselves.
You don't see yourself as a dark person, do you?
No.
No, at all.
Not at all. Nobody that knows me thinks I'm a dark person. My God.
At all.
I'm like always laughing at everything.
And yeah, she was struggling with clinical depression at the same time her fame was exploding. She said she felt trapped, joyless, like she didn't even want the spotlight. All she really wanted to just go hang out with her friends like a normal teen.
But then on top of it was this fame that I didn't want at the time. It was this inability to go out places, and it was so torturous was because all I wanted to do was go hang out with my friends.
What pulled her through? Therapy, her family, and music. The one thing that never stopped being her safe space. And now, the same songs that got rejected are the ones the whole world sings. Radio caught up, eventually. From Billie being labeled too sad, to someone who got labeled a villain just for moving on. I'm talking about Miley Cyrus.
When, I recently just went through a very public divorce that fucking sucked. What really sucked about it wasn't the fact that me and someone that I loved realized that we don't love each other the way that we used to anymore. That's okay. I can accept that. I can't accept the villainizing.
Miley talked openly about her very public divorce, and not the heartbreak itself, but how people turned it into a whole drama series. She wasn't sad about the love ending. What really hurt? That people completely ignored everything in between. She said, it's like, one day I'm smiling in photos, and the next day I'm the bad guy for being in Italy with someone else. But behind the scenes, there was time, there was hurt, there was growth, but the world didn't care about the in-between. They just wanted a headline.
And the, just all those stories that, like, it's just amazing to me that the public kind of thinks that there's no gap of time that they didn't see that could possibly be what led to this. Like, it's not, one day you were happy on the carpet and the next day you were making out with your friend in Italy. What the fuck? Well, there was a lot of time in between that you didn't see. It didn't go, yeah. I didn't.
She said she's tough, sometimes too tough. She doesn't fall apart like she used to, and that scares her a bit. But maybe that's just what happens when you grow up in the spotlight, get your heart broken in front of millions, and still keep going. No dramatic monologue, no tears for show, just Miley telling it how it is. Miley showed us how growing up in public can toughen you up, but Selena, she was 21, in love, completely overwhelmed, and the internet had already made up its mind about her.
This is obviously, it's about your relationship with Justin. Mm-hmm. There's no secret there. Were you and are you nervous about letting everybody in and letting everybody hear what exactly is going on in your mind and in your heart?
Why everybody wants to form their own opinions anyway.
Well, that's what I wondered.
In her interview with Ryan Seacrest, Selena Gomez opened up about one of the hardest chapters of her life, her very public breakup with Justin Bieber. She revealed that the hardest part wasn't the breakup itself, it was the judgment that came with it. People treated it like a soap opera. One minute she's with him on the red carpet, next minute she's with someone new, and suddenly she's the villain. But behind the scenes, there was pain, confusion, growth, none of which the cameras ever showed.
I think the biggest problem I had this year, even with him and on his side, is identity. I think people, I was 21 this year, I turned 22. I was trying to figure out what I'm doing, and it was the first time that I was constantly being kicked down for doing that.
She explained how she filmed her song, The Heart Wants What It Wants, in a real emotional state, talking to herself alone in a room with a hidden mic under the table. Raw, real, therapeutic. Selena said she spent so much time trying to please everyone, she'd cry in the bathroom before stepping on stage and never gave herself time to just feel.
Ready to be happy. And eventually I would be in my bathroom sobbing right before I'd go on stage. And then I'd just put myself on stage and I'd want to be there for those people. I never took a moment to just go away and be myself and figure it out. I kept pushing myself.
What changed? She learned to love herself first, to stop when she needed to, cry if she had to, and not apologize for being human. She's not just closing a chapter, she's finally writing her own. Click on the next video, it gets even deeper, and drop a comment on topic we should cover next.